Hey y'all, it's Lissa, aka Bangs and Glasses, and I'm back to share about my first ever experience at a scrapbook retreat. So recently, it was at the end of July, I attended my first ever retreat, and it was hosted by Scrapparazzi Retreats. It was located here in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, which is where I live, and it was at the Stony Creek Hotel. So because this retreat was so close to my house, I did not stay overnight or anything in a hotel, which is part of why I was able to attend, is just because it was so close to my house. I could go back and forth from my house to the retreat. So over the course of the weekend, I was maybe there about maybe 18 hours total. I did take Friday off in order to attend this retreat an extra day. And then the cost for the weekend for the retreat was $100, which I think is pretty standard for retreats like this. So this was my first ever retreat that I ever attended. And the reason that I decided to do this one is because it was so close to my house, like I said. So that allowed me to go back and forth as needed between home and the retreat. Since I do have a toddler, if you're new to my channel, welcome. I'm gonna just share a bit about my experience here at this retreat. So first I'll just share some photos of what I had packed for this retreat. So the retreat also included a little garage sale area. So I did bring some stuff to sell that I was destashing from my giant stash of stuff, and I do really like that it had that element included. I'll also include some photos of what the retreat space looked like. So everyone had their own 6-foot table. There was electricity available for the crop. And since I was so close to my house, I did not bring a ton of stuff. I brought a couple different projects to work on. I brought just a couple different collections with me. I did not really do like page kits or anything in order to get ready for the retreat. I just knew I wanted to scrapbook photos from our trip to Minnesota we did back in 2024. So I brought that, and then I brought the 49 and Market Flower Emporium collection to go with that, as well as Paige Evans Adventurous. I also brought some baby photos to scrapbook just to make myself scrapbook those. I also brought some photos from working my previous job, Reading Partners, and I brought the Simple Stories, my story collection, to kind of work on killing that off. I also brought some just random photos to go with that. So yeah, I didn't make kits or anything, which I think was maybe something I should have done, and that I'll probably do next time, because I just brought like my whole collection with me and then the photos and just figured it out while I was there. And I feel like I spent a lot of time there, figuring out what I wanted to do and then like what layout I wanted to do, looking up sketches. So I think that's something I definitely do differently if I do a retreat in the future, is doing some layout planning beforehand. But as I've been kind of talking about on my channel, I just really have not had a lot of crafty mojo lately, so I didn't really have the energy to like pre-plan anything. I was just like, I'll figure it out when I'm there. And I did get quite a few layouts done. I got 16 layouts done during the course of the retreat, which is pretty good for me. That's about what I would make in a whole month over just one weekend. So I did, bring my kind of like rolly bag full of stuff. I had a wagon that was full of stuff I was selling. I do really like that they did a garage sale element there. I was able to make like almost most of my money back from what I spent on the retreat, because the retreat was $100. And then from selling stuff, I made $95 throughout the retreat, which was pretty cool. So it's kind of like I only spent $5 to do this retreat if you use girl math like I do. So yeah, I was definitely in and out all weekend. And that was tough I would say, on just my husband and my family. What I would do is I would go to the retreat in the morning. I would kind of sleep in. I'd get there around like 10 to the retreat. I do a little bit of crafting. Then I would go and get lunch on my own, come back to the retreat and stay until around 4 or 5, and then be home for the day. So doing dinner and bedtime and everything with my son. And then Sunday, we had to be out of the room before 3 o'clock because another event was moving into that space. So Sunday, I only did 3 layouts that day because we had to be out so early. So yeah, it was definitely a lot on my husband to, take care of my son so much over that weekend and not really have a lot of break. So I think if I do ever do a retreat again, I would want to actually go away for the weekend and stay overnight there just so I could have more time there, first of all, and second of all, not be so back and forth with the family. And I would probably, see if my in-laws could watch my son for the whole weekend, and then maybe my husband could go off and do what he wants to do that weekend or something like that, just so it's not so much just on him. But I really appreciate him, watching Alex so much that weekend so I could, engage in my hobby and just have some time to myself. So shout out to my husband because he is the VIP and, why I was able to do this in the first place. So another thing I'll say is that one of the reasons I really wanted to go to a retreat was just to meet scrapbookers, meet more people. And I think just, how this retreat was set up it wasn't really conducive to that because I know some crops and retreats I've heard like they'll do kind of like classes or they'll have games and stuff where, people are more like mixing and mingling or like doing something all together. And this retreat was not like that. There were giveaways throughout the event, which was pretty cool. I won, I think, one of the giveaways that they were doing. And they did give you a bunch of stuff for being there, which was nice. And I'll put a photo of that in here too. But yeah, I didn't really get to talk to very many people. Where I was sitting was kind of towards the front, and my grouping of tables was like a group of 6. The person I was across from during the retreat, she had to actually unexpectedly leave the weekend. So I talked to her for a little bit, but then she was gone most of the weekend. I talked a little bit to the people next to me, but not really very social. Like, I was mostly focused on just getting layouts done. I did bring my little Bangs and Glasses business cards that I have that have my YouTube on there, so I could, just tell people like, hey, this is my YouTube channel, like, go check me out. And some people did take that. So if you are on here because of that, welcome. But yeah, I think overall it was definitely worth it. I got a lot done, and it kind of forced me to get through my crafty rut. Like, I was there, to craft, and just had to make myself do it. But it is very tiring. Like, I didn't really anticipate that, how tiring it would be to like just sit there for hours and hours and make yourself be creative. So that was definitely unexpected. But I think overall, definitely worth it. I think in the future, I'd go about it just a little differently. But yeah, I really like, what I created. I'll be sharing those layouts in my July layout share, so that'll be on my channel as well. But yeah, that was my experience. I would say probably like 8 out of 10. I would definitely do it again. I think I'd maybe plan to do a retreat maybe once a year, just because, I do have a little one and it's just challenging to get away. But yeah, I definitely enjoyed it. I enjoyed myself, got a lot done. But yeah, let me know down below if you've ever been to a scrapbook retreat or a crop, what your experience is, if there's some you like. I'm located in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. I know there's a bunch around this area or in Missouri. It's just kind of hard to get away right now. But if you have some that you would recommend to me that are maybe more about socializing or really helped you meet new people, get into the crafting community, let me know. Thank you all for watching and listening. This is kind of a different video for me, just kind of chatting and showing you all some photos. But yeah, I appreciate you being here, and I'll see you all again next time. Bye.